everybody, I'm excited to do this day in the life on our Canadian homestead. The first thing that we do, obviously, get up in the morning, and I've got to feed my kids a little bit of breakfast before we head outside. So to start this morning off, they just had some bread and some fruit, and I just had a coffee. That's all I need to get myself going in the morning, and then it was right outside because we needed to feed the animals. It is honestly a bit of a chore getting outside with the kids because it takes like 10 to 15 minutes to get them dressed to go outside, but it's worth it. They get outside, they play for a little bit, they're getting fresh air, and then we do the animal chores together. And I really enjoy that they can come along with me and learn about how to take care of our farm. And this was our first warm day in a while, and the first time that I had seen our animals out in such a long time. So in here we just have some animals separated out because Dandelion had her babies and we gave her her own space, and my kids crawling around was them looking for the babies. And then when the babies wouldn't come out of hiding, my kids just decided to go outside and play instead. And so I finished up feeding them, giving them water, and then we were back outside because we needed to head to the barn where the rest of our goats and our dog Huck live so that we could get them breakfast for the morning. To me, this is the best part of feeding the animals in the morning. I love being in this paddock with all of our goats and the chickens because it's so cute watching my kids interact with them. So usually while I'm getting the animals all fed up in the morning, our kids are just following them around. They like to follow the chickens, they like to follow the goats, and they're kind of just doing their own thing, keeping themselves entertained while I get everyone fed.
What do you think you're doing? This is the goat's hay.
You stay with the chickens. Don't lay eggs in the goat's hay. There you go. Every morning we collect eggs, and there's right now there's always 1 or 2 frozen eggs, and so those are the eggs that we give to our dogs as a treat. And you can see Hascap here. She knows I'm coming over to give her something special.
Good girl. Your babies are outside, Dandelion.
So our weather for the last several weeks has been so drastically cold, like -30 nonstop. And this was the first time that I had seen the baby goats come outside. And it was really exciting to see because we weren't planning on having baby goats in the middle of February because it's too cold in our climate. So it was really nice to see them adapting so well to the cold weather. Once we're all finished up with feeding the animals, then I let the kids play outside for a little bit, and it helps them burn off a little bit more energy before we head back inside the house. Then once we're in the house, we have second breakfast. And while the kids are squared away eating something, I get to have another cup of coffee and just kind of relax for a little bit because after second breakfast, I like to get the kids set up with some sort of activity so that I can try and tackle some chores. Today, the kids had a little dance party while I had my cup of coffee, and then I set them up to play with some Play-Doh so that I could try and get the dishes done, but I hardly even got a start on it before the kids were already done with playing with Play-Doh, so I really didn't tackle any chores while they were set up for their first activity, and I put the dishes away, and then I just decided to start making lunch. A plate of chopped veggies and cheese is a pretty typical lunch for us. So they had their lunch, and then I needed to go back outside to check on the animals and collect our eggs before they freeze. So what I do if I'm only going to be outside for a very short period of time is I let the kids watch a show, and I put them in their high chairs to make sure that they'll be safe inside while I'm outside. We had this turkey in our fridge, and it hadn't gone bad yet, but it was getting close to the expiration date, so I decided to give it as a treat to our dogs. I love giving treats to Huck. He loves everything. He appreciates everything, and he's so cute, and he's so hardworking, so he really deserves it. And of course, it'd be so unfair if I didn't give some to Hascap, and she knows that. You can see her tail wagging. She knows I'm coming over to give her the same thing I gave to Huck. We love our livestock guardian dogs. They live full-time with our goats, so we give them treats as much as we can. Anything from our kitchen, if it's edible for dogs, we let them have it because they deserve so much. And then I caught the babies outside again, so I just stuck around for a couple extra minutes and watched them because they're so adorable. Now this looks so disgusting, and it is. It's basically slop from our fridge and all the leftover food that our toddlers don't finish when we feed them meals. But it's great for the chickens because it's all sorts of nutrition from all the food groups, and you can see clearly the chickens absolutely love it. They gobble it down as quickly as they can. Here, I'm just heading to the back of the barn to check on the goats, make sure they have water. I'm going to collect any eggs I can find. This is Molly. She's a very cute goat of ours. And the chickens right now are kind of laying all over the place, so I always have to go on a bit of an egg hunt, and I find them all over the barn. This is actually their nesting box where they're supposed to lay eggs, so fortunately they lay most of their eggs here, but it is always still a bit of a hunt looking for the eggs everywhere else. And then I noticed the chickens were sunbathing in the little crack of light that comes in where that doggy door is. So I opened the door all the way up for them to really enjoy, and then I picked up the bowl that you can see is totally licked clean. The chickens absolutely loved it. And then it was back inside to prep a roast beef dinner, and this was pretty lackluster today because I ran out of time. So we had bread instead of potatoes, but the kids still really liked it. And then after dinner, we bring the kids downstairs to the basement, which we have set up to be kind of like an activity zone. So there's not really so much toys down here, lots of space for running around, climbing. We have this sensory swing, which has been amazing. We love it, and I would absolutely highly recommend to basically anyone with children. So the kids tuckered themselves out for a little bit before we turned on a movie for them. We watched Mulan tonight, and then after the movie they get ready for bed, and once they're asleep I head back outside to do the night feed. At the end of the night, the feed is super easy. All we're gonna do is feed our dogs, give a check on our goats, make sure they have water and hay for the night, and grab some eggs. Huck heads into his shed to have his food, and while he's eating, I go into the barn, I check on the goats, make sure they have hay, make sure they have water. This is also a really good time to check on the animals, make sure nobody seems sick or has an injury, and then I can check on the shelter too, make sure that nothing has broken. So I need to put hay into this feeder, but before I do, I gotta check and make sure there's no chicken eggs, which there wasn't, but we often find them in there. And as I was putting hay in here, I realized, oh, there's a chicken egg right there, so I had to kind of shove this bale in, grab the egg, and then I fluffed it out afterwards. And last, we're just checking in the nesting boxes for eggs, but tonight there were none. I guess they just stopped laying in the middle of the day. The goats have hay, the chickens are good. We collected their eggs, and we don't feed them anything at night. Everyone has water, so we can let Huck out and then move on over to Haskap and Dandelion and her babies. Hi, are you waiting for an egg? You definitely are. I have one egg. Come on out. Oh, hello, Haskap. Hello. Haskap has her food, so I'm gonna sneak in a cuddle with the babies. This is the best part of the day. We're officially done, so I'm gonna head back inside now. That is the end of our day as a stay-at Homestead mom. Thanks so much for watching our videos. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.